Welcome back to another travel guide. Today, we are exploring the small eastern Colorado town of Fort Morgan. This is located more in the northeastern part of Colorado along the South Platte River. This town of over 11,000 people is a quieter place, but overall had a bunch of great folks living around. Now, let's jump in and see what this wide open area has to offer. The main items we want to hit today are breakfast at Peppy Coffee, hike the Riverside Park Trail, check out the historic bridge, grab lunch at Pollo, Norteno, exploring downtown and what it has to offer, check out the Fort Morgan Museum, ride at the Brenda Joy and Sunshine skate parks, visit a local winery, go axe throwing, and find some dinner. Woo! Alright, let's see what we can get done today. And here we are, grabbing a quick snack and warm caffeine on this chilly day at Peppy's Coffee, a small little drive-through shop on the north end of town near the sugar factory. It's a nice little spot that is definitely drive-through only, so it was a little bit of a challenge going through here on a motorcycle, but it was pretty much the only local coffee shop besides Big Chains that was open this morning, weirdly enough. So let's head over to the first adventure of the day. Welcome to Fort Morgan. Alrighty, we are out on a very different part of the state that we haven't really visited yet, of Colorado, and we are in like the plains part of the state. So Colorado is split up in more or less, I'd say, two halves. You have Kansas side of Colorado, which is just kind of plains and flat, and then you have the Rockies. And it's kind of weird because like when you hit the Rockies, it's literally just this wall that separates the state in half. But we're here and we are standing right next to a very historic bridge here, and it is called the Rainbow Bridge. We are standing on one of the more historic sites of Fort Morgan. Right here is the Rainbow Arch Bridge, built in 1923. It was kind of very unique at the time. This was the largest bridge of its kind when it was built, and still one of the largest today, and still stands as the only one of this type built in this state. So if you want to see something like this, you got to go to Fort Morgan. And overall today, it's basically become a walking bridge and biking bridge. So you can see right next to it is the roadway now. It is pretty thin, like it's not very wide, so I can understand. This would pretty much probably be like a one-way traffic for like today's cars. So this historic bridge was built to span the South Platte River, and that's pretty much all I got. It's been around for a long time, and it still stands today, and it's pretty impressive. Right behind me is another pretty like historic building. So one other thing while I'm standing here to show you is back behind me. Dwight would be proud because that is a massive sugar beet processing plant that just pretty much does what you think. It processes sugar beets and gets you some sugar. And there you have it. Just a little piece of this town's cool history. So let's jump into the hike. Let's roll on and start enjoying this morning on the trail. Welcome to the hike for this lovely little trip in Fort Morgan. And look at this. Cool little bridge thing. But we are at about the halfway point right now. And this is nice. It's actually really nice. If I lived here, this would be an awesome little like jogging path. And just like a quiet, peaceful area. This is really cool. I like it. But yeah, there's like plenty of spots to just kind of relax and listen to the water flowing, the leaves rustling. And look at that. There's a little, I bet you this is a nice little fishing pond. There's a little dock there I bet you. Oh yeah, some good fishing in there. But
overall, it's just really nice. It's relaxing, peaceful. I've been enjoying it. This has been a nice little morning, just kind of loosen up, warm up a little bit. It was a chilly moto ride to get here. It was probably about 34 degrees most of the way here, but it should top out today at almost 70. So it's going to be a really nice day. Kind of finish this little hike out, get the drone up in the air, get a couple little shots of the area, and yeah, overall it's pretty cool. Oh, there is a pretty nice big frisbee golf course here too. So if you're into frisbee golf, there's a big course here. There's a couple baseball fields, there's basketball. Like, this park is huge. There's a hole right there for frisbee golf. Cool. All right, I'm gonna be quiet. Let's keep on trucking. And yeah, I'll see you at the end of the hike.
It is time to head into town. But first, let's grab some lunch at the taco truck right on our way in. I think they do plan on eventually moving into the building next to the truck. That's at least what a couple locals said that I was talking to kind of later on in the day. But I ordered a variety of tacos to sample a little bit of everything, like some chorizo, barbacoa, and I think I got some asada. This place did not disappoint. It was actually all very good. While I finish up lunch, let's go back to the list and see what we've done so far and scratch off some items. Bam! We had some coffee. Boom! We visited the bridge. Pow! We hiked into the park. Blow! Grabbed lunch at Pollo Norteno. Blam! We're heading into downtown. Halfway done. Let's keep on rolling. This quiet little town does have some neat places to look at. Let's start out on a spot just outside, not far from lunch.
That was some good street tacos. But yeah, I was really happy with that. And so let's start our journey. We are starting the town portion of the trip, and we are here at Always Picken. And so the start of this town trip, there's like 2 or 3 spots kind of around town that's not really in downtown that I wanted to hit that kind of piqued my interest. This one specifically because there's not a lot of picking stores that I've been to out here, at least. So these are always fun to check out and worth stopping by, especially just even hitting them once a month, once in a blue moon, because you never know what you're going to see. It's constantly switching inventory because it's just like what they find at auctions, at state sales, whatever you want. We're going to head into Always Pickin', and we'll kind of get some narration going for the normal style of the town trip. So let's head on in.
This place had exactly what I was expecting. A whole bunch of random items, which is not a bad thing. It's neat just seeing what places like this may come across. Weirdly enough, the next stopping spot was the town's Goodwill. I generally was curious what may be in one of these smaller Plains towns Goodwill stores. It was interesting. But the final little stop is an old train station still in use today. This station was built in the early 1900s that is now acting as a commuter stop for Amtrak to and from Denver once each day. Unfortunately, it was locked, so I couldn't go inside to check the cool building out. Okay, enough roaming. Downtown time. Starting off with the Books on Main, a nice little used bookstore and coffee shop to enjoy them in. Culver Theater, the dressing room, Mattress Mart, Cable's Pub and Grill, Bicycle Adventure, Brown Shoes, All About You, Bad Medicine, The Queen's Lounge, a cool old hotel turned local dive that has some great potential. It was interesting that half the bar was completely redone with games and a relaxing area, and the other half is in this main lobby of an old hotel built in 1930. This place was a nice little exploration and stop. Repeat, repeat, repeat boutique. Las Baqueritas, Chefs de Chinese. Rosita's Bakery, The No nightclub. Tierra Luna Mercantile. Puff and Stuff Diner Still Second Chance Store. This is exactly what you think it is, a local thrift store along the main drag. It's a cool little spot to check out. Acapulco Bay. Sagebrush Market. Club Tap, just rustic. And Mosqueda Delicious, a neat little ice cream and candy store where I picked up a chocolate chunk ice cream, which was very nice and creamy.
Alrighty, now that we're done with the town portion of the trip, right next to downtown, right down there, is the Fort Collins Museum, right on in front of us. So I'll let the narration take over, and let's head on in.
The small museum is insightful and provides a coherent and brief history on the area. Before this was a town, it was a part of the larger area the Native Americans used to call home, until large numbers of settlers started moving through the area, traveling west along the Platte River. Now, Fort Morgan got its name due to, well, you probably guessed it, a fort being built here to keep travelers safe along their journey. The town didn't really start making progress to what it is today until some stayed and figured out how to irrigate water from the river and cultivate the area. One of the biggest crops to grow well here are sugar beets, which are still a significant industry today. Surprisingly enough, this area is one of the biggest and most productive sugar beet industries in the United States. From there, the town just continued to slowly grow into what it is today. The museum also went over what daily life was like here in the early days, the railroad's impact, extra history on the Native Americans who had lived here and their past, but I'll save that for if or when you decide to stop on by. It's about that time we go out and check out a couple local parks and hop onto the BMX. Let's roll on over to the Brenda Joy Skatepark.
Alrighty, as you can see, we got a train passing by, and we are at the Fort Morgan Skate Park and dirt jumps, which I didn't know there was dirt jumps here until coming here. Unfortunately, they gave me a flat tire. Oh no, my tire's flat because I got a little thorn in my tire. So there's going to be next to zero riding in the bowl. I pretty much warmed up in the bowl, came out here, did a couple lines, and then filmed 2 lines, and then my tire was flat. That's unfortunate, but this park's actually pretty cool. So I'm standing down here in this dirt section. You got skill course things and that are pretty cool. You have even a little drop down over here, and then it takes you into this dirt jump line, which it's not too bad. The dirt jump line isn't bad once you get used to it. The high side jumps are actually pretty good. They give you some nice pop, but when you loop around the back end here, a lot of the dirt's kind of washed out. So it just needs a little bit of TLC, but it's not bad for like this local park. It's really cool, but the skate park's actually pretty cool. The skate park feels really new. It's pretty slick, but that'll break in with some time. So let's head up there real quick. All right, so we're up at the skate park, and this place is actually pretty cool. It has a cool, like, larger rhythm section all the way around the park. If there's a main roller going through the center, and there's small rollers going throughout it. So it's almost like a large concrete pump track on the outside, but then you actually have some decent bowl here. Something cool that I like here with this specifically is in the bowl you have like rollers and pumps, so you can really get yourself going in the middle. It's kind of fun. And a nice little concrete air out box. You can roll on this side, but the opposite side here gives you some nice little pop. And this is just perfect for sessioning just small tricks and anything else like that. Generally speaking, this is a really cool little park. It's very flowy. I just wish I had more time to ride the bike. I pretty much was in here to warm up. Over there, popped my tire. As you can see, day's over.
On the way over to axe throwing, I wanted to check out a local winery. Generally, it had great reviews and looked like a nice place, and it's something I've not featured in a trip yet, so let's try it out. Well, I'll be honest, I'm not really into wine to begin with, so yeah, that might be why I hasn't been in one yet. This little local family winery is called Country Roads, Vines, and Wines. This had a nice setup just outside of town where you can relax and gaze across the flat open plains. It's actually really nice. I did try a sample of one of their sweeter wines and it tasted like grape juice, so to me, it was good. I would recommend visiting this place if you're in town. Just watch, they do have some limited hours. Now, let's go throw some axes.
All right, so unfortunately the next thing we were going to do after the winery was an axe throwing place, which was called like the Hatchet House, I think. And I got some bad news. It closed last month, which is unfortunate. But the other spot I did want to check out, at least look at, there's kind of like this speakeasy right across the parking lot. Boom, after hours. So we're gonna go in there, check it out. Then we're gonna grab dinner and we'll call it a town trip. Sorry, this one was a little bit different than others. A lot of things kind of went wrong. I mean, we have the flat tire at the first skate park. There was supposed to be 2. Unfortunately, the Hatchet House was closed. 3 out of the 4 places I was going to eat were closed today. It's just unfortunate.
Let's head into After Hours, where I picked up their special fall drink that had a cinnamon stick in it. It was definitely tasty. I did hang out there for a while and chit-chatted with some of the locals before heading to dinner, which they recommended a steakhouse on the other end of town. Overall, this was a nice and more relaxing of a trip, and everyone I met here was very nice and welcoming. They just wanted to sit down and have a conversation with you. It's a bummer how some of the stuff didn't really work out, but that didn't mean this trip was bad. I did definitely enjoy it. I do like going to a variety of places for these trips to get a feel for all kinds of walks of life, and you never know what adventure you may find along the way. Let's grab some dinner, but first finalize our checklist. We rode BMX at one of the parks, so halfway done, visited the museum, tried out the winery. Axe throwing was permanently closed, and we're about to have dinner. So we did decent today overall. Okay, let's grab dinner and wrap this puppy up. Dinner was at the Flame Steakhouse. It was pretty decent for a steakhouse connected to a gas station. I picked up a sirloin steak that came with a wedge salad, baked potato, and some veggies. Overall, decent spot. Thank you for watching the travel guide through Fort Morgan, Colorado. If you enjoy this, go watch some of the others. Like and subscribe for more.